Good morning, good morning. I'm actually starting this at home before I go to work. It's a miracle. I am getting ready to leave in a few minutes. I feel like past 2 days, I've actually gotten up and gotten ready and had like a little bit of extra time. Woohoo. Anyway, I was texting with our director last night and she sent me some photos of the backdrop being painted for Elf and 12th night, which isn't until February, but they've started rehearsals because it's Shakespeare and that's a lot, and fight choreography and all of that. And then the radio show that they're doing. And so anyway, I wrote her back and I was like, hey, awesome, thanks. Asked her a few questions and we got talking and I told her, I was like, I am so honored that you asked me to run social media, even though you really had only known me for like a month at that point. I was like, that means a lot that you trusted me with that. And she wrote me back and she was like, girl, I liked you before I even technically knew you, because she saw me in like the dress rehearsal of Xanadu, because she was in, what show was that? Little Shop. She was in Little Shop at the time playing Audrey. I just figured that out. Anyway, so she happened to see the dress rehearsal or the preview, something of Xanadu. And so anyway, she remembered me from that, but I didn't know her. So anyway, and she hadn't like talked to me. It was just, she saw me and was like, oh, and she was like, I knew, I liked you before I even knew you. And, you're very responsible and dependable. And those are two really big things from me. And I was like, well, thank you. And so I ended up saying, well, I knew from auditions that I was going to love you as a director and as a person, just because your energy is so great. And she was saying, oh, that means a lot to me because, I'm always worried that, people are going to think that I'm being mean or whatever. And I was like, no. I was like, I completely empathize with that. But there comes a time when you're down to the wire that being firm needs to happen. And if someone, it's a hard lesson to learn to not take everything personally, especially when it comes to performing, but it is a lesson that needs to be learned. And of course, it's a fine line, right, to walk for both actors and directors, right? Anyway, and so she was like, yeah, I really hope you will come back and continue to do stuff at the Holly, cough, cough, Wizard of Oz, which is the summer show that I guess she is directing. I'm assuming. I don't actually know. I'm assuming so. She was like, cough, cough, Wizard of Oz. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I definitely will be back in the future to do more shows for sure. I was like, but I'll be honest, I don't know where I would fit in Wizard of Oz. Because I kind of said how with the actor strike over, the agency is definitely going to kind of be on me a little bit more to remember to, when I'm working on stuff, to leave time open to do auditions and things of that nature. Not that I usually get a crazy influx, but I don't know what's going to happen after this strike. I don't know. But also to continue to match pace with what's already on my resume. You know what I mean? And so basically, because when I do shows, and I've totally fallen back in love with theater, but I know it is not wise, especially for a theater that's an hour away from me, it is not wise for me to take an ensemble role when I'm driving that far and I have the 2 jobs and I potentially have other auditions. And if those auditions are for paid projects, even if it's a paid project that's a featured role in something, that still is a step above, right? And so the agency wants me to kind of keep that stuff in mind and be careful with that. And I get that. And it's also a personal thing for me. I totally get that. Ensemble is fantastic and incredible and amazing, but just with being that far, it's like for Diary of Anne Frank, being an understudy is fantastic and I love it, but it would be a different story if that was a theater that was an hour away. I will say, and if it was a different show, because I love that show so much, but it would be a different story if the theater wasn't 5 minutes away from me, right? Because that's a lot of driving to do when very likely and hopefully I will not be on stage. So what was I getting to? Anyway, so yeah, she was like, cough, cough, Wizard of Oz. And I was like, oh, I don't know where I would fit in that. And she goes, well, you never know, because I'm open to any gender playing the role of the 3 sidekicks. And I was like, was that a hint? Was that a hint? And so I wrote her back and I was like, well, the 3 sidekicks are my favorite characters. I was like, no offense to Dorothy, but I am not a soprano. So anyway, I guess I might be auditioning for Wizard of Oz. And then, sorry, I know this is a long clip, but I don't know how much I'm going to vlog for the rest of the day. She was like, and I know, you have some experience on the technical side as well, like from your film stuff. So if you're ever interested in like assistant directing a show, let me know. And I was like, wait, really? And she was like, yeah, I'm doing the summer show again next year. And I'm always looking for people on my team. So we'll release what show that's going to be pretty soon. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. And I was like, okay. It's like, this person's known me for less than 3 months and is like, it's wild. Also, Salt wasn't waiting for me this morning, but I'm hoping it's just because it's a little too blustery and cold, because sometimes that has happened where he doesn't come out until it's a little warmer in the morning. But I was like, I heard something like howling far off, but I heard something last night and I was like, please don't get Salt. I have new lenses. They are so beautiful and so wonderful, but there's a tint to them, which I think is normal because we did add an anti-glare and an anti-scratch and all of that. But like, oh, and blue light protection. So maybe that's why. But like, everything has this kind of yellowish tint to it, which is kind of weird. And the prescription shouldn't have changed that much, to be honest with you, but it definitely feels like it changed. And that's like, it did change. The prescription did change. I just don't know why everything looks darker, which is fine. It's just, which I just have to get used to it. But I will say, I put them down and I'm like, wow, my gaze is blurrier than I thought. But maybe it's just like, while I was walking, and it's not like my, anything was messed up or anything. It's not like my depth perception is messed up, but I am just getting used to the, it feels like I'm taller almost. Like it feels like I don't know how to say that. But I am expecting for my eyes to hurt a little bit just because as they adjust to a new prescription. But yeah, I don't really know why everything's kind of darker. Maybe that's the astigmatism. I don't really know. I don't really know what's happening here. It's fine. It's not like anything's blurry. It's just, I don't know. I feel like, what's the term? Sepia? Sepia is like what I feel like I'm seeing, like very hint of like sepia filter. But maybe that's because we added all the stuff onto it. I do just wish I kind of had a receipt for what I do have a receipt. Duh. I do have that. So maybe that puts down what it's supposed to be on each one. It's in my bag. I'll check. But like, I literally am looking at the tree across the street, and if I put those down, wow. Wow. I think it was just, I didn't realize how much, and the prescription wasn't adjusted that much, just enough, but they are so beautiful, and they don't have any scratches, and they don't have anything. And so the woman was like, did you get something on your other lenses? And I was like, well, yeah. I was like, not really. They just kept peeling, and I hadn't been in 2 years, and they changed, and my prescription changed. So hopefully my eyesight won't continue to change too much, because it would kind of suck to have to be getting new lenses all the time, because that is not totally covered by insurance. So just out of curiosity, I'm learning how to read my prescription, like my eye prescription. So I'm learning that OD is right eye, OS is left eye, and SPH is nearsightedness for negative numbers and farsightedness for plus numbers, and CYL is for astigmatism. So my right eye is worse for astigmatism, but is only a negative 0.5 for nearsightedness. Whereas my left eye is a 1 point for negative 1 point for nearsightedness, and only 0.7, a negative 0.75 for astigmatism. So like my right eye is worse for nearsightedness by a full point. No, half a point. But it's still negative. It's all negative. So everything's nearsightedness. But yeah, that's wild. So I just looked up too, because I didn't know what the numbers could go to. So SPH, or your nearsighted or farsightedness, can go to 0 or plus or minus 20. So it'll be plus 20 for farsighted, negative 20 for nearsighted. So I am nearsighted. So to think, I was like, because there's one, like, how heavy is this prescription? Like, I had been told that it's very light, but even when I go like this, I'm like, holy moly, there's a difference. Yeah, if it can go up to 1 and my left eye is negative 1, sorry, if it can go up to 20 and my left eye is negative 1, and the other one is negative 0.5, that is not bad. Astigmatism, on the other hand, can go to either plus or minus 0.25 to plus or minus 4. So the fact that my right eye is negative 1 and the other one's negative 0.75 is interesting. But that one is a much smaller range. But astigmatism, I think I have had easily ever since I was a kid, but I've had 20/20 vision. So this just shows pretty much I'm 1 point and 0.5 off from 20/20 vision, which is why she said I'm able to see 20/20 vision with glasses on. So let's just hope my prescription does. I don't know what my prescription used to be because I don't have a copy of it. I would love to see if I could find that, but I just really hope it doesn't get too much worse. Sorry, the cats are playing. Neither of my parents have super terrible eyesight. So I'm hoping that means, and no one in my family has really like trouble seeing. So hopefully that'll work in my favor. Sorry, this is a really long vlog, I know. Also, I didn't see Salt this morning, so I was a little scared, but he was just sitting on the chair outside. So I gave him his food. He meowed at me a few times. He was mad because I don't know if he was the one to eat it this morning. But he wasn't here when I got home, so, but I did get home later than usual, so if he's starting to learn my schedule, I messed that up a little bit. So I'm working, but it's been a relatively easy day, which has been nice. So I finished the last post I did early, and then I have Atmos to do. But, so I mentioned the whole thing about the Wizard of Oz earlier, so I just thought for the heck of it, I don't know what version of music the show uses. I know I've seen the musical show, but it's been a few years, so I don't remember a ton of it. But I just thought I would look up Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Not that, because I basically said yesterday, right? I was like, I love Dorothy, but I am not a soprano, which is true. But I decided, I was like, I haven't heard that song in so long. Yeah, that is not nearly as high as I thought it was. And my head voice has fortunately developed a lot more just kind of on its own since for the past little while. So yeah, I was like, wow, that's actually sounds better than I thought it would. So if when I go to audition, I definitely will actually say like that I'm open like to, I mean, I'd be open to like the witch or Dorothy or any of the sidekicks, or I mean, not that I would get the good witch, Glinda. But like any of those I'd be open to, rather than being like, whoop, not that one. But I was impressed with myself. I was like, I was really proud of myself. Alrighty, so I just reviewed all of my choreography quickly because our choreographer is going to be at rehearsal tomorrow. Yes, I'm heading to bed. Sorry for the really long vlog, but thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. On social media is in the description. Love you all.